Hello, my name's Izzy.
I'm Steph.
I'm Ian.
I'm Tim.
It's important for jurors to understand the context in which people have done whatever it is that they've done, not just to decide on a matter of law. The context is really important, and this is a principle upheld in law since the 1600s. And also, a judge in London ruled that it wasn't an offence to sit silently outside a court with a placard asserting this right, and yet despite that 11 people were arrested and charged with contempt of court recently for doing just that thing.
So why is it that judges don't want people to be able to describe their motivations?
There seems to be a political pressure on the judges, damping down their ability to hear, the options to hear this. So there seems to be something coming down from further up that is pressurising them in this respect.
It's increasingly the case that this is being used, I think, that judges are gagging the defendants and refusing to allow them to talk about their motivations, despite knowing that that is precisely why they have committed the acts for which they're in court.
And it's certainly under the Conservative government, it was part of a whole package of cracking down on protest, on legitimate protest.
It would be nice to think that the new government might think and treat us rather differently.
So how are you feeling this morning? Are you ready to get arrested?
Yeah, we're prepared if we need to
That's
be.
what it comes
Yes,
to.
we've come prepared for that if we have to be.
To be fair, we've done this same protest several times before. Is this our fourth time?
Maybe.
And Doncaster outside the court. Nobody's been arrested yet. It's just been arrested. So maybe the chances here are lower, and as far as we know, there's not any sort of activist trial going on in the Crown Court. So I think it's probably low risk, but yeah, ready to.
And
face
also
it.
it makes you think about why are people getting arrested in London for doing it and not in other places. It does seem very inconsistent the way people doing this have been treated.
And this is not only relevant to climate activists. This is a broad principle that all of us as citizens should absolutely grasp onto. It is vital that the jury understands the backstory to why someone did whatever they did. It's a fundamental and it's a very important principle. The backstory and any reasons behind it must be taken into consideration in whatever judgment they make.
Passed without incident.
No arrests.
No arrests, yeah. We were a small group, but there are various other people who would have liked to be here today but couldn't. And I feel it was really important that we do this in solidarity to show how many people around the country are still protesting and that this isn't going to go away. We're doing it in solidarity with our friends in London who have been arrested.
And in other places.
And in other people. And to just support the right alleged offences to be heard according to the background information, why people did them. And why people do a lot of these things is to do with the existential threat to humanity, and what could be more important than that?
Yeah, well said. Yeah. And it was cold, and I left my gloves on the kitchen table by choice. And on a plaque in the Old Bailey.
So it might be that we need to hear from the convicted, the person being convicted, the backstory to why they're doing that. And the jury have the ability to use their conscience and how they feel about the crime and the actual reason behind the crime as to how they convict. So they have to have the courage of their conviction.
I think crime's a bit steep.
Yeah, that assumes.
Right. The assumed crime.
That's better.